Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, DisneylandForward is taking a step towards reality. More seating for guests has shown up around the resort.
Italian Ice is coming to downtown Disney. Avengers Campus turns 5 with some special appearances. We finish our conversation with James and Tage about their cruise and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Mica nella crista! Blah! Hi, this is DL Weekly. Family. Good. You listen? Okay. Don't forget Ohana.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of June 10th, 2026. I'm Tage Bushman.
And I'm Teresa Urban. We would like to thank everyone who supports the show, but this week we would like to give a special shout out to Jenny D., Christy H., Gretchen D., and Amy A. for your continued support. If you would like to help support the show and get an ad-free version of each episode, plus some fun perks like access to our supporter-only chat and book club, and I'm trying to think what other cool trivia. We've got all sorts of fun hangouts that we do too. Head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
Now let's get to the news.
Extra, extra! Read all about it! DL Weekly reports from intrepid correspondents Tag and Teresa. You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Breaking news!
Well, as part of the Disneyland Forward project, the Manchester cast member parking lot is scheduled to close this summer to make way for a new multi-level parking structure and Harbor Boulevard Gateway. Built behind the Harbor Boulevard hotels, the structure will feature a pedestrian bridge crossing over the street to connect guests directly to the Esplanade. Although official timelines have not yet been released, construction permits have already been filed with the city of Anaheim.
I don't know why this is so exciting, but I mean, because it's right where it's something like something's potentially starting. We should preface, nothing is official from Disney yet, like Tag mentioned. This kind of leaked through because cast members were told that things are going to be changing because this current space is a surface lot for cast member parking. So that's kind of how this filtered through. I'm sure because it's leaked, Disney will be coming out with something official soon. But in the meantime, of course, we're all going to speculate. Looks like you linked, of course, David over at Fresh Baked has been covering this. The link is in the show notes. So were you able to watch David's coverage?
Yeah, to be fair, I skipped through a lot of it this week because he talked about all the stuff we need to know, and then he just kind of went on a whole diatribe about what this means and kind of recapping for people who may not already be aware. And I was like, I already know all this, so I kind of skipped through it. But if you need all the back history and stuff, he's done a great job getting the old renders of what that area is going to look like. He's used some satellite views. He's got I think it was Theme Park IQ, or no, the Workers United Local 50 posted the beginning on June 28th. The lot will be closed. These are cast members, right? This is the cast members, yeah. And so it talked about where they're going to have to park now and stuff like that. So he posted a screenshot from that. And then also, I think somewhere else there might have been a permit or something that Theme Park IQ had, and he posted that in there as well.
I tell you, he does a good job with the research because pulling all of that additional information, plus he does Tag's kind of going quickly through the video now. He does a good job of walking the areas of where it's going to be to really help people get a good visual. Even if you're familiar with this area, this isn't really familiar with the area being like Disneyland. This is really off the beaten path from what theme park goers would normally be kind of aware of and on their radar. So it's nice. All the visuals that he does is really, really great. So if you're trying to figure out where this is exactly and how this is going to fit in, check out his video.
Well, and we know this because we walked back from the
Company D.
The Company D store. And we were like, oh, this goes over to Hojo. Let's take this. And then the sidewalk just abruptly ends. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm interested to see that this is finally getting started, which I think is a great thing. One thing I just saw, I know this isn't in our news, but I do want to mention it. So he also talked about the Grand Canyon in Primeval World. Have you seen anything about this yet?
No.
So right now,
breaking news.
Instead of having the Primeval World and Grand Canyon, right now they've got a bunch of it's blocked out because they're doing a refurb. But of course, the train's not going to stop and not go through here. So supposedly, Theme Park IQ said there's 2 permits. So one in the Primeval World area, there's going to be new rock work and fall protection and replace lighting throughout. And then the Grand Canyon area is replace show lighting with LED, new controls and equipment to be anchored to existing pad. So if you are on the train and you're going through this and you see this weird display, if you will, they're working on it. It's not going anywhere. It's not that they've let's just put up some wood or cardboard display and that's now going to be this. But yeah, I didn't see this in a lot of places,
No.
but I think it's because unless you ride the train and see it, it's probably not on anybody's radar.
Right, yeah. That's fascinating because that's one of those things that, of course, in fact, I think this last trip when Vern and I were there, we were talking about that. How does one even get in here to when you have to do the maintenance and the refurb and the cleaning and all that stuff? And obviously, these things don't just exist in perpetuity without ever needing any sort of TLC.
Yep.
And things, they have to do stuff, but I've never given any consideration as to what it would look like when they're doing that.
I feel like in the past they've done it when the railroad has
Sure,
also been
yeah.
down because that just makes sense.
Yeah.
But we've noticed the last few times we've gone, it does seem like as things go down, they are converting to LED lighting
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
So this is, I think, more of that.
Yeah, makes total sense. Well, Disneyland has recently expanded its cover seating options for the summer season, including the addition of the new Edelweiss Lounge in Fantasyland and Red's Community Garden in Carsland. To provide guests with more indoor places to cool off, the park has also converted the Port Royale shop in New Orleans Square back into a seating area, which that just is hilarious to me because it was a shop and then a seating area and then a shop again, and now it's back to a seating area. Plus, they are doing a bunch of construction over at the Hungry Bear Barbecue in Bayou Country because they're adding additional shaded seating area there. The push for extra shade comes as a recent Disney guest survey actively asked visitors about the importance of covered seating ahead of a forecasted hot and rainy summer.
So this is interesting to me because we covered a few years ago when they did Project Stardust for getting ready for Galaxy's Edge, and there was a ton of stuff done then, and then it kind of was like done, right? They're like, oh, good, great job, pat on our backs, we've done this great job. And now they're adding like structures. Like before it was like opening walkways, and now it's adding covered seating, which is needed.
It almost feels backwards though, doesn't it, from Project Stardust? Because that was kind of removing stuff. I'm thinking of the Haunted Mansion in particular, because there used to be it used to be further out, like the lawn space.
Yep.
Used to be further out with that brick wall, and there used to be it was lined with benches before. Now it is not, because they were, again, trying to widen the walkways. So this almost feels like, I don't want to say a step backwards, but it just feels different.
Counter to what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you saw this in person.
Yes. This was so exciting.
And when I say this, I mean Edelweiss.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about it.
Both. I saw the Hungry Bear construction walls pop up while I was there too.
Yeah, but that's not as exciting. This is done.
It's still construction walls. So this was nice. I actually sat right about there in that photo, but it looks gorgeous. The thing that they did an amazing job with, it doesn't impede, like where they built this, I kind of didn't realize there was that much space for them to have put something there, because there was it was nothingness. This space in a previous life had been home to the Fast Pass distribution for the Matterhorn. I think this footprint, though, is much, much bigger than what the old Fast Pass distribution space was. It looks great. It looks like, when you see it side by side with like the Edelweiss snack stand next to this thing, seamless. It doesn't look like this is a new to the park structure whatsoever. It looks like it's always been there. It does kind of overshadow the seating area that's behind Edelweiss, which is the old motor pool.
Yeah, the motorboat
cruise dock thing. That's still there. A lot of people were worried that they were going to close that, and this was like the not consolation price, but like the new place for seating. So it just expanded it out. It's very, very cool.
They also have like a switchback kind of line thing for Edelweiss now, which I think is good to have that, because there's been times with any of these smaller locations, if they get a rush, if there's not a nice line area, what ends up happening is people just line up in whatever
Straight
direction.
out,
So then it does block. I think this looks nice. Now, I do want to make a weird comment. I feel like they put a lot more attention to detail to this seating structure than they did to Madame Leota's Regions
I don't
Beyond.
know why, but I knew you were going to go there.
Well, because it's a big piece of construction.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they put this is like, to me, this Edelweiss Lodge feels like classic Disneyland of like, we're going to spend a lot of money on it. We're going to do lots of detail.
Sure.
We're going to our artisans are going to custom make this place. And then you get like everybody was like, this looks like it was out of a mail order catalog.
The problem was I could see people trying to claim the same of this, and that they just zhushed it up here and there with like the decor. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe I'm the minority. I'm not as bothered by the appearance of Regions Beyond as
I'm not that bothered by it either.
On the internet are.
I just haven't seen any controversy about this.
No, yeah,
in that way.
I get what you're saying, yeah. But this is great. 'Cause the other thing too that you can't see in this photo, but other folks have shared online, they have like story and almost like a little mini storyline and theming like back into it. There's like a space in the back that looks like it's people's like, I don't know, snowshoes and like that kind of stuff. And it's, again, a seating area. They don't have to do these things, but they do. Another one that's very fun that I made a point to, so it's not as new as the Edelweiss Lounge, but Red's Community Garden over in Carsland. I spent some time really getting to check that out because online there's all sorts of buzz, no pun intended, about the adorable little Cars bugs that you can find crawling around on the like shade structure thing that is the entrance into Red's Garden. And so Vern and I spent some time trying to spy those, and they're stupidly adorable. There's only 2 of them, just so, well, 2 that we were able to find. Maybe there's more, but yeah. And then the other thing too, so Country Bear Barbecue Jamboree. Have you seen where they're doing this?
Yeah.
There was just
like gardening stuff
but
there,
it's
like,
kind of into the walkway area too. I'm curious how far, like when it's done. Right now, there's construction wall, so it always feels like it's impeding in your space a little bit more than what the finished product will be. But I'm really curious when it's done how much seating they're actually gaining. I'm also curious if they're going under the raised section at all, or if it's just what it's going to be exactly.
My comment for this, and maybe I'm wrong, I felt like of all of the dining locations in all of Disneyland, this has the most of anywhere.
You're right.
So is there a reason they need to add more? Because even when we've been there during really busy times, we never had trouble finding a seat.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why are they adding more? Now, I will say, somebody brought up the fact that downstairs where the restrooms and stuff are does get pretty busy, and people just kind of stand in the walkway. You've seen that.
Sure.
And they kind of sit on the fencing that's there. So maybe they want to add some of this of like, while your loved one or whoever you're with is in the restroom, sit over here instead of sitting on like, or standing in the walkway, which is kind of narrow in a way, or sitting on the fence.
That could be. That's a good point.
Because I never felt like I saw this. I'm like, okay.
No, you make a good point.
But there's so much seating there. Like, of all the places to add seating to.
Coke Quarter and Jolly Holiday seem to be places that sometimes it's very difficult to find a seat because they're just very popular and they're limited on space because where they are. But I get it. Like,
I don't mean to go on like a whole tangent here, but I'm curious, like, your thoughts on this. So,
but we're going. Well,
it's related to this. I feel like there's a distinct vision for the park right now that we are seeing kind of unfold. Like, where are we going? Do you know what I mean? Like it seems, so we have a period where it seemed like we went through when Thomas Maslow came in, where like we're going through a lot of like refurbishment, repainting and stuff, which is great because the park needs that. You know, we have Main Street and all that stuff. By the way, those trees haven't come back on Main Street yet, which makes me nervous because they've pulled more scrims down, but the trees haven't returned. But maybe the trees will return when they're like done. I don't know.
So.
But just looking at some of this stuff and like looking at the progress they're making right now on Pirates, where they're repainting the outdoor queue area, which like, is it great they're doing it? Absolutely. Could they have gotten away with not doing it? Probably. Like, it wasn't terrible looking to begin with. So I just find it interesting that like they're doing all of these little things that to guess is like, I think is totally needed and is the Disney difference for sure.
Yeah.
But is not like something that like the everyday guest is immediately going to like obviously notice. I mean, some of this like covered seating probably, but just like these little things, like things are getting painted more. They are adding more covered seating. With Pirates, they're doing some more outdoor queue stuff. It seems like they're starting to work on some of the stuff with the Adventureland Treehouse that's been kind of broken for a while. So just like, it's interesting because it feels like, is this like early prep for the 75th?
I think that it's more of a sign that they're feeling more caught up and more at ease post shutdown and post pandemic. Because I think nobody could have in their wildest dreams understood how long the park was gonna be closed, and then what it took to get it back up and running. Not to mention all of the turnover with staff, because of course people still needed to have a paycheck in order to survive, and with the theme park closed, that's a lot of people had to make tough decisions and not be able to return to Disneyland. There was a huge slew of new hires at that point, which again, like, institutional knowledge at a lot of places is important, but I think especially like in a theme park, it's so nuanced and so unique that it's that much more important to have tenured people there to be able to pass along that knowledge. And there was a big old gap, and we've heard that there was even kind of like rushed get people in through like traditions and stuff and get them going because they were feeling the staffing crunch that much. So to me, this is a good sign that the park is feeling like they've caught up finally, because even like, remember back right after the parks had opened, for a few years we were having a lot of things with attractions. That attractions were tons of downtime throughout the day, just I think because again they weren't able to kind of get in the routine of what the routine maintenance
and
was
the knowledge of
and the knowledge and just playing catch up. So I feel like this is a great sign because they don't have to make sure that the bare minimum is done. They're able to go above and beyond and focus on things that aren't, like you said, going to impact like ticket sales or anything like that, but stuff that they still care about. That is the Disney difference.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like they're doing a lot. No, I do too. But it just seems like they're doing it, and we haven't seen a lot of this like in the last few years.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the plan? Like, are they trying to get ready for, let's get the park in good shape for when the Coco attraction opens?
Well, you also have like the Olympics
Avengers
coming.
Campus, the Olympics coming. Obviously, they're going to start, once they get the new parking structure and stuff, I think we're going to start to see DisneylandForward finally get into gear because they need the parking. So it's just interesting to me that, like, I don't know. It just feels different. But also, they've been doing some weird things, like they've been taking attractions down for refurb and then extending the refurb or removing the refurb return date, like Emotional Whirlwind.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's going on there? Did they find that like it needed more, so like they just did it, or did they run into a problem? I don't know. There's just all these like little things that, especially with the fact that we just went from one president, now we have another new president. Like what's the long term thing here? So it'll be interesting to see over time. But it was just one of those things that I was thinking about. And I was like they didn't announce any initiative to make more covered seating. They just kind of have been doing it.
Yep, and people are noticing. Yeah.
Anyway.
I do want to say real quick, I noticed immediately because Hungry Bear, back to Hungry Bear, the construction wall was not up for the most of our trip, and it was on I think it was the last day, the Friday that we were there is when we first noticed it. I don't know if that was the first day it was there, but it was the first day we noticed it. And the first thing both Vern and I noticed is all of the lighting that's on there is very much like, it looks permanent. So it's like, oh, this is not like a quote unquote like quick temporary, this is only going to be up a short period construction wall. This is a like legit, very well themed. The lighting is like attached to it like it would be like on a normal wall kind of thing. It's very high quality and very well done. So we were kind of joking, like, so how long are they planning for this wall to be here? Because it seems like they put a lot of effort into this wall. So,
and Disney does a good job with construction people, like doing it after hours. So like you walk by and you're like, for days now, nobody's been here working, but obviously stuff has been moved around or whatever. I don't know, it's interesting. Yeah.
It is interesting.
Happy Ice, a popular Philadelphia Italian ice brand from Los Angeles, is coming to Downtown Disney with its first fully all-natural menu made from real fruit and pure cane sugar. The cart will feature exclusive rotating and specialty flavors, as well as the debut of Joy Latte, a new dessert that layers Italian ice with vanilla sweet cream, fresh fruit, and sauces.
Yum, yum, yum. So if Happy Ice sounds familiar to you, you're not going crazy. It's because the food truck version of Happy Ice had been at Downtown Disney on previous occasion before. In fact, one of the trips, maybe it was when we went for Pride Night, so like 2 years ago, I stopped and got some of the Happy Ice, and it was delightful. I could see how like on a hot Southern California day, this would just really, really hit. It was so delicious. Lots of vegan options here too, which is really awesome. So I am really happy to see that it was so well received by the Disney community, and that they did so well that they're not going to have a permanent spot. It looks like it's going to be like one of those little kiosks. We don't know exactly where the kiosk is going to be located, but it's coming.
Right after you finally had Joe's Italian Ice, now Italian Ice is coming to downtown Disney. By the way, did you find it confusing that it's LA's #1 Philadelphia Italian Ice? Because to me, it's like LA, Philadelphia, Italian. I'm like, there's 3 locations.
Like, where is this coming from? I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I actually had to like kind of read what this was, because it uses handcrafted Philadelphia water ice made with real fruit. So it's something about the water, I guess. And the ice specifically that makes it Philadelphia. Because I was also with you like, huh? Like, I am not an Italian ice aficionado, so I didn't know that there were differences. But to me, that's what I was gathering from the Mice Chat article that we took this bit of information and news from. And if you'd like to read the full article yourself, of course, go check the link in the show notes. But they talk about it as Philadelphia water ice. So they use Philadelphia water to make the ice. Tag to the rescue. He's digging even further.
Oh, it's like a company?
Well, that is
Water Ice in Philadelphia. Is Philly water ice the same as Italian ice? We explain how it's made and where you got it.
Maybe it's a mashup of an Italian ice and the Philadelphia version of it.
So, most similar to a fresh fruit slushy, water ice has been Philadelphia's favorite summer treat for generations. Each spring, as the weather starts to warm up and hit in summer, they celebrate with their favorite seasonal treat.
So it must be like a mashup between the two then.
Yeah.
So to me, when I had one of the Happy Ice's concoctions, I don't remember what the flavor was. It was a rainbow. It was beautiful. It was kind of, I wouldn't have, it didn't really give me like what I think of like an Italian ice. No, that's wrong, because that's a Hawaiian ice.
Here's a whole thing for you, Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
So, to beat the summer heat, according to food historian Liz Williams, ancient Sicilians devised creative means to both refresh and delight. Long before the invention of coolers and refrigeration, the people of Sicily were ingeniously experimenting with ice. Runners were sent up the almost 11,000-foot Mount Etna, Europe's highest active volcano, to collect snow and ice that could be combined with lemons, limes, and other fresh fruits to create a cool and refreshing summer treat. Over the years, Sicilians mastered the method of storing the ice in caverns beneath the volcano before transporting it to other parts of Italy. As they did so, the practice of mixing ice and fruit, known as granita, spread throughout Italy. Different regions developed their own versions of the fruit and ice combination, as well as sorbets and gelato. Fast forward some 2,000 years to the early 1900s, at the peak of Italian immigration. Approximately 2 million Italians immigrated here, and the majority coming from southern Italy with the hopes of escaping the intense poverty back home. And they figured out how to bring this there. That's crazy.
So the texture of it is kind of like, it's not like, if you think of a Hawaiian, like shaved Hawaiian ice, that's more like chunky. This is more like
smooth,
light and airy and smooth. So it when you like scoop it, it scoops like ice cream.
Yeah.
But it's not as dense of a texture as an ice cream would have.
Yeah, it's just fascinating.
It's delightful.
We all learned something new today.
Yes, we did. Now
I want to try some.
Well, to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Avengers Campus, Disneyland flooded the land with over 24 Marvel characters for a day of surprise meet and greets, including a first-time appearance by Kate Bishop from Hawkeye. This milestone comes amidst a major expansion of the land, which will approximately double its capacity by adding 2 new attractions that are currently under construction.
So I have so many questions. Like,
how has it been 5 years?
No, because it does feel like it's been 5 years, because it feels like it's been, like, thinking about like Pym Test Kitchen and Web Slingers, like it feels like it's been there a long time for me.
Okay.
Now, my question is more operational, if you will.
Sure.
So we have all these characters now. Normally, if you think about it, Disney hires friends of characters to play a specific role. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing this temporarily, where are these people coming from? You know what I mean? Like, are they anyway? Because they have to look like it and stuff. So it's interesting. So they have all these different characters that showed up. Some of these people, I think, are the same friends that we saw when we've been there before. Like, I'm pretty sure these two are like the same from before.
Could be. So some of the people that you could have met on this, like on June 4th, which was the 5-year anniversary, was you could have met folks from the Eternals, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Marvels. We've had the Scarlet Witch, Agatha Harkness, Mr. Knight, who of course is from Moon Knight.
Like Teresa just said, Kate Bishop from Hawkeye. Mm-hmm. Hawkeye themselves also showed up there. And of course, all the regular people. There's Ant-Man and Captain Marvel and Black Panther. And, well, this is really good. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Doctor Strange and Black Widow.
Guy? The red.
He's from the Thundercats,
so
the new Marvel or whatever it was. And then Shang-Li?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hey, look at that.
So the big thing I want to kind of clear up, because in case people are big Avengers Campus Marvel fan folks, is so Kate Bishop had previously appeared, but she only had appeared in the holiday stunt show. This was the first time that she was down and meeting and greeting with guests. So that's why it was such a fun, big deal. I thought this was a cool way to celebrate the anniversary of the land. Like, this isn't typically something that, you know, there's pomp and circumstance for, but this was a good way to kind of like have something special still happen to mark that celebration.
I kind of wish, especially for Avengers Campus, that, like, you know, when the expansion opens, it'll be different. But for right now, like, this brings so much to the land if they could just have characters out like this more often. Because people, you know, the whole idea with Avengers Campus, kind of like Batu, is that it's like a living campus. That they're there doing things. So having them out more and having a more variety of them, I think, would be good. Because obviously we get some staples that are there, like Iron Man's there a lot. Spider-Man's obviously there a lot. You know what they didn't bring back? Hulk.
Ooh,
remember the big Hulk?
Yeah, you're right.
I wonder whatever happened to that.
I don't know what happened to Hulk.
Anyway. Disney on the Yard presents Yard Fest 2026 will take place at the Downtown Disney District on Friday, June 19th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., serving as the kickoff for the Celebrate Soulfully Summer Vibes event. The celebration of HBCU culture and traditions will feature appearances by the Texas Southern University Ocean of Soul Drumline, DJ Kwame, and a special performance by drum major Mickey Mouse. Guests can also enjoy themed food and beverage offerings, participate in family games, and win prizes during trivia throughout the evening.
This sounds like so much fun, and I'm kind of sad that it's only like just the one day, really, because it seems like they put a lot of energy and effort into this that I wish that it could be longer so that more people could come and experience it. So this sounds to me like it's going to be taking place mainly at the, I'm going to call it the new end of downtown Disney. So the end where the Trading Post is and like the Downtown Disney Live Stage. That's such an easy name and I can never remember it. I don't know. But it's going to be taking place down at the stage and the lawn area there. This just sounds like such a fun thing. There's going to be, Tag mentioned, different universities that are coming with their different drum lines that you can watch perform. There's a DJ, there's chance to win prizes, all sorts of fun, exciting things that you don't normally get to see and experience at the park. So why not, right?
I mean, anytime they bring entertainment to Downtown Disney, it usually ends up being a good time. And tying this in with Celebrate Soulfully, awesome.
Yeah, as like the kickoff. I mean, what a way to kick off an event.
Yeah. Well, it's that time again for our friend Eric over at Concierge to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Johnson with Concierge, and welcome to the D180. While Teg and Teresa cover all things Disneyland, in the D180 we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. So let's jump right in. We start our journey this week at Alania Disney Resort and Spa in Hawaii. You can plan ahead a bit and get some big discounts. If you want to stay for 5 nights or more, you can get 30% off of your rooms. It's an incredible place, folks, so definitely check it out. Oh, and these deals are for October 19th to December 23rd, so you best get moving. Speaking of incredible places, you can stay at Walt Disney World this summer with a similar deal. Earn 30% off a 5-night stay at a large list of Walt Disney World hotels in the deluxe and moderate ranges, starting on dates in August through October. Yes, you can visit the Cake Bake Shop at the Boardwalk Resort and then go visit the iconic nanny chairs in the lobby of the hotel. What are those? Why am I talking about nanny chairs? Well, thanks for asking. They're vintage chairs from Atlantic City. They look like scary flower people. You can sit on them. They're 100 years old. If you turn around those chairs, you can read their names. Named chairs that look like scary flower people. Sorry, that doesn't help sell the trip, does it? Take a look at your dogs and make a funny sticker of them if it helps. Send it to me. I'll send you silly dog pics back. Anyway, get a discount on half of Walt Disney World hotels this fall. And while you're there in Walt Disney World, hopefully you can see some of the progress on Monstropolis. Work is still happening to turn the streets of Hollywood Studios into Monstropolis. The City Frightful. That's their city motto. I didn't just make that up. Disney politely requests that you keep an eye, or 6, or 8, on the progress of building a bridge between the world of monsters and humans. I can't wait to see what they come up with. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you'd like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both the DL Weekly and Concierge. Then message your expert travel planners over at Concierge. They look forward to planning something special for you and yours. I'm Eric Johnson. This has been your D180.
Thanks, Eric.
We're now approaching TriviaLand, folks. If at any point you smell smoke, don't panic. That's just Tag racking his brain. And if you hear a boom, that's Teresa delivering an answer. Put them together, yep, TNT.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back to TriviaLand.
Is this a hint?
Nope.
Howdy, folks.
I was going to say, you're very, Western.
Not even close to a hint at all.
Okay.
You're just
is
very
this,
Western.
Randomly Toy Story themed because the 5th movie's coming out
Yes,
soon?
that is exactly what I was going for.
Are you excited for the 5th movie?
I have not been paying attention that closely to really know. I know that there's their nemesis is a tablet this time around.
It seems right. I like the concept of it as somebody who works in IT and realizes that kids don't really a lot of time for kids now is screen time. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this. Anyway, James, sorry for derailing.
No, that's okay. I think that's a cool conversation, but that is not related to my conversation with you for trivia tonight. The internet surfaced to me an article of 20 fun facts about Walt Disney that even his biggest fans may not know. So I picked 4 of them to see how you do, and I think picked some of the harder ones. But
gee, thanks, James.
The easy ones would have been too easy for you. Things like Walt and his carousel and how they obtained the land for Florida and Disney World.
All right.
You know those, so I still think you'll do pretty all right tonight, and we'll see how it goes. So without further ado, my first question for you is, what was the name of Walt's first animation studio, the one he started in Kansas City?
Oh, no.
Wasn't it Disney Brothers Studio or
Laugh-O-Grams, yeah. That's what I was trying to figure. I'm pretty sure Laugh-O-Grams was first, because there's been multiple, so then I'm trying to remember, oh no, what was the timeline? Yeah, I think Laugh-O-Grams was first.
And to be fair, the reason that I know this so readily was we had Jeff Barnes. Mm-hmm. I still get his newsletter, and now he actually has 2 newsletters a week that come out. And they were talking about his failures in the beginning of sometimes, you don't get started because you're afraid, and fear is just preventing you from doing stuff. And sometimes you just need to do stuff. And because then they were see, Walt had this failed and that failed, but he just kept going. Anyway,
it's so true. Good message. All right. Question number 2. Walt provided the sketches and ideas for Mickey Mouse, but he didn't finish the design. Who is credited with that?
This is a controversial topic, but yes, Iwerks and Walt Disney.
Go on, Teresa.
were
Tell me
on
more.
The creation. We're credited with the creation. Poor Iwerks, because for a long time nobody associated him with it. Not even the Walt Disney Company, and it was just, Walt did this, and it was all these different stories of how Mickey was created and whatnot. But yeah, Walt and Iwerks.
Yeah, I've even heard that kind of did it, and Walt was like, "Well, you work for me, so it's also kind of my creation."
Yeah. So I'm curious. Nobody will ever know what the actual thing was, since both gentlemen that were involved.
Well,
are no
everybody
longer
from
here.
that time, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody from that time that would know the true story aren't here. But yeah, so because Leslie's talked about it, Leslie Iwerks, who's Iwerks' granddaughter, has talked about I remember my grandpa's telling me the story went along these, this way
Right.
kind of thing. But even so, it's still kind of hazy.
Yeah. And who knows, because everybody always tells stories to make themselves the hero of the story. So it's hard, to know the truth unless you were there.
But
Iwerks.
We like to hope that they work together on it in good harmony and everything, right?
And maybe that's what it is, and it's not the drama that everybody's made it to be.
But and Walt have did a lot of things together. Because
Yes.
didn't also help with the multiplane camera and stuff? Wasn't that a part of the thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Did a
And
lot.
What was that one? The
Circle Vision.
Circle Vision camera.
Well,
By the way, for those of you which is everybody, Teresa just sat here and made a helicopter movement around the top of her head.
You knew what I was
I
saying.
did, but it was just funny because I was very
Listeners,
animated.
other people are probably doing, Circle Vision.
Yeah.
Thinking about all that, right? Yeah.
Sometimes I think maybe this should be a visual podcast just because of stuff like that.
Add great moments.
for our sake, no.
All right. Third question for you. Walt Disney has the record for the most Academy Awards won by an individual or project. How many does he have?
A lot.
It's a lot, and I think that I saw a thing that said that nobody will ever surpass him because they've changed how they give out Academy Awards and stuff, and it's impossible for someone to get that many.
You know what's terrible? So I was just at the Walt Disney Family Museum
Where they
earlier
talked about
this
this,
year,
probably.
where they talked about this before you even get into the actual first exhibit.
I'm going to say it's something
Academy
like
Awards on
48 or something ridiculous.
I had a weird. You're going to say 48. Okay.
52 is my other number.
My random number was 97, which could be
Whoa.
completely wrong.
Okay, well, I will give you a hint that'll probably help Teresa more than Tage at this point. He's been nominated 59 times.
You did, so he didn't win 97 awards?
Well,
they gave him...
not Oscar Academy Awards.
No, I know, but it was a joke.
Yeah.
A bad one, apparently. Okay.
Well,
so
when we went to his office, they had that room that had tons of different awards and stuff that he got. I wonder, I'm sure the archives know, how many total things has he gotten? That'd be kind of interesting.
Okay, so my random gut was 97, so I'm going to go with 47.
47.
47.
$1.
48. You got it. All right. Last question for you. Finally, which president awarded Walt Disney with the Presidential Medal of Freedom?
Ooh.
I also have another hint for you if you really need it.
Was it whatever the word is?
Posthumously?
No.
Okay.
Well, this is when we get to test also our presidential. Kennedy? I'm going to go JFK.
I'm going to go... You might be right with JFK. You had a hint, James?
I can give you the year he was awarded the medal.
Okay.
It's 1964.
Okay, so JFK was dead by then. So it was Johnson. LBJ.
Okay. I feel like I should get a half credit for not having a hint and being pretty close.
Sure. I could advocate for you to have that.
/LBJ.
I mean, if the unfortunate events did not happen to JFK, it might have been him.
Maybe it was his idea.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is 4 fun facts from the article about Walt Disney. Did they know it? Did you know it at home? Well, we got to wait for our discussion topic to finish sailing along before we get the answers.
This week, we continue our discussion about Tage and James's Transatlantic Disney cruise. So another fun thing that is specific to these longer sailings is you get more entertainment options. So typically on your general Disney cruise that ranges from 3 to 7 nights, we'll say, you get 3 different Broadway style shows. There may be a magician or something for the longer sailings. You have a pirate/Frozen night on one of the nights as well. But when you've got, 14 nights instead of 7, the people need more. So what are some of the things that you got to experience that were outside of those kind of presets?
The quick normal things, we had Believe, which is their normal
Yes, that was
Broadway
the
show.
preset.
Beauty and the Beast,
Mhm.
normal thing. And
The
Golden
Mickey?
the Golden Mickeys was the other thing.
So I enjoyed all of those more this time. Well, Beauty and the Beast the same. I was still in that same way, but I enjoyed the other two more. I think knowing what I was going into
Oh,
helps me to enjoy things a lot.
Sure.
And so I had a better time with all of them as we were going
Yeah,
through it. So I was
'cause-
happy about those.
For those of you that haven't been, Believe and the Golden Mickeys are we're going to say they're just Disney shows. So obviously the Beauty and the Beast show is the telling of Beauty and the Beast, whereas the other ones are kind of your smorgasbord of you see all sorts of different characters for all sorts of different reasons, and they kind of all come together to tell this one overarching story.
Yeah.
So there's not really a good way to explain what the shows are, and even when you see what the explanation is, you're still kind of huh. But it works.
I will say this time compared to last time, and maybe I'm just forgetting, but the overarching story of Believe is a father and his daughter who she's still very into believing things and magic and whatever, and he's a scientist and very
yeah.
has forgotten how to believe. And the storyline is the genie shows up and goes through a bunch of Disney people and characters and situations that gets the father to come around to believing.
Yeah.
And they have a genie, and the genie was the genie from Aladdin Musical Spectacular, where he had lots of great jokes.
Yes.
And I was I told James, I said, I don't remember this many jokes last time. This is amazing. This gave me that shot of Aladdin Musical Spectacular again. It was
There you
amazing.
go.
And then Golden Mickey's is kind of an award show with a bunch of different things. Like you said, a kind of a clip show of Disney stuff. The other things that we got to see and experience that were cool was there was the crew talent show, which is always amazing.
Oh, so great.
This year, it was a lot more of the crew singing and dancing. Last time, there was a guy who did sand art and some
Oh,
other
that's right, yeah.
things. This year, they didn't have the variety necessarily. However, our assistant cruise director came out and he said that he was an opera singer, and we all thought he was kidding because he was making tons of jokes the whole
it's a
cruise.
Total joke.
James thought that that he was going to start singing. The curtain was going to open. It was going to be somebody else behind the curtain.
Or a video or something.
He
Something, yeah.
was singing. He sung with the person that we are pretty sure was Belle.
Oh.
They sung Phantom of the Opera,
Ooh.
and it was amazing.
Wow.
Impressively, not the best part of the crew talent show, no matter
Really?
how good that was. Yeah, they closed the crew talent show with 3 people who were singing Frank Sinatra era. And we were just in awe. The first guy, good, great, played his guitar, wonderful. Second guy, though, you could have put him in with anyone from the Rat Pack Crooners, and he would have
Wow.
sounded exactly like it.
And we think there's no way that this last guy is going to beat this
Why
guy.
would he go second?
And he did.
That's terrible. And the last guy, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
His voice is wasted in housekeeping.
it was great.
And he's in housekeeping.
He's
Yep.
in housekeeping.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. Let's see. James should talk about this. James, who was the performer that was there that you are I have pictures of James looking starstruck.
Yeah, so one of my big obsessions outside of this Disney universe is the Eurovision Song Contest. Long-running song thing in Europe just happened in
Think
May,
American Idol, but between European countries.
and a little bit more interesting and unique as it goes through it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite performers is Greta Salome, who is from Iceland and performed for the country in 2012 and 2016. And I absolutely adore her 2016 song. And she was on the ship. and she performed that song. She probably has better U.S. name cred as the person who wrote most of the songs for the Will Ferrell movie of Eurovision. Yeah. So she wrote a lot of that music. Is like usually I'd say the iconic song Husavik at the end of it, but Yeah Yeah Ding Dong is probably the iconic song from there.
That's funny.
Yeah, so she was super involved with that. And so when I saw it in the planner, I'm like, oh, cool, they've got a video of her. Like, don't need to really go see that. Nope, they were clear. She's here. It's live. And then she met us after the show, and I was starstruck. It was great.
Cool.
She also announced that she was pregnant.
Oh.
So, yeah.
So she said that she was going to try she played a violin
So well,
like faster than I've ever seen someone play a violin. She played this melody and she said, I don't know if I'm going to get to the end of it because I might break my violin.
And it was like the second song of her set.
Oh,
and so it's like, this is brave. So
that was amazing.
But the violin survived.
Violin survived. The strings are all intact.
Yeah, we saw the second show of hers, so it was like, okay, it could break.
So she was great. Otherwise, we saw two magicians / mentalists.
One of them we had seen on the ship last. It was either on the ship last time. It was on the ship last time.
It was on the ship last time. Yep. And he did a pretty similar set to the last time, but it's still pretty awesome as it goes through it. So yeah, so they were both great. What else did we see?
I think that was kind of the main stuff.
The main big entertainment.
We missed out. Yeah, we missed out on like a more operatic group that was singing. We missed out on a juggler.
Yeah.
And then there was someone from Britain's Got Talent who had like a variety show, and we missed out on that one for other things as well. So they definitely give you something in the main theater every night after the first night, that if you want to see some sort of live entertainment like that, you can have those options.
The other thing was last time, if you guys listened to the episode from 2 years ago when we went on, was Kevin Kearns from the archives was on, and he gave, I think, 4 talks then.
Oh, he did more than that.
It wasn't that many, James.
Oh, he did repeat some, I suppose.
Yeah, he did repeats. Okay. He did each one twice. This cruise, we had Bruce Kimbrell, who started, and he's a big Disneyland person. He started working at Disneyland and had quite a long career with Disney. And he had, it was like 8 or 9 different sessions.
Basically every day after the first day, if we were at sea, he had something planned.
That's awesome.
He had a very good PowerPoint that went with his stuff, so it was really well timed. He had some video clips that he played with some stuff. He did have one of the ones towards the end that was kind of funny, that it was, because they were supposed to last 45 minutes. The first one only lasted a little over 30. Like, I think his timing was off. Like, he kind of went quick through it. One of the ones that James didn't go to, because James kind of like, James was like, I'm going to go do Funnel Vision instead.
I picked the ones that made sense. So I went to the first one, and then I came back for the ones that were called Walt Disney Genius, and then the one about theme park firsts.
Yeah. And so one of the ones that I saw, though, was almost the entire time was like 2 video clips that he played that were really long. And I was like, But he was really interesting to talk to. He does this a lot on the Disney cruises. He talks about how like this is this like bajillionth cruise that he's done these types of talks on. But he worked at Disneyland. He worked in City Hall. If you go into City Hall, there is a bookshelf there. And if you look at I don't know if it was the name of the book or the authors of the book, but Bruce Kimbrell is one of those people on there. He doesn't have a window, but he does have this. He talked. Cool. Oh, 2 of the days he talked were windows on Main Street. So he talked about all the different people that had windows on Main Street and kind of their history a little bit. And
was he up to date and had Kim?
No, he didn't do everyone.
Sure.
He did a few over 2 days. Yeah, he talked about his time at the Disney Institute. He talked about his time on the Jungle Cruise. He talked about his time in guest services. He had a couple stories of when he was Plaid taking people out. He had a Michael Jackson story. He had a couple other like famous people stories that were kind of interesting. Cool things that he brought was when they redid the carpet in Walt's apartment, he got a piece of the carpet that they were going to like throw away, and he brought it with him. And it was like an artifact that you could look at after the talk. He also has this like gauge, I'll call it, that was, if you look at the original like first like 10 years of Disneyland, there was this gauge in the wheelhouse of the Mark Twain that when they did the first big refurbishment, they actually got rid of that and they put in a new one, and he has the original one, and that was also with him that he brought for us to look at. That was really cool. He had taken his Jungle Cruise boat off the rail one time, and when they
Which is like a big no-no for skippers to do. Like, well, shame.
He had a whole story about it. But that boat that he was piloting or skippering, when they redid it for when Indiana Jones came and they renamed a bunch of the boats, he requested to get the sign, like the name of the boat, and he
Yeah.
has it, and he has a
That's
picture
fun.
of it in his backyard and stuff. So that was really cool. That was like the cool, like, extra Disney nerddom thing. And that was interesting because all of his talks were in the big theater,
Oh.
where the Kevin Kern stuff was in the Buena Vista, where they usually do movies.
Except his Q&A.
Except for his Q&A, which makes more sense because if you're going to have somebody walk around with a microphone and ask questions, like, you don't want them in the balcony and whatever.
Sure, yeah.
So that he did that in the Buena Vista Theater, but all the other ones were in the main Walt Disney Theater auditorium.
So how many people attended these like hyper specific Disney
It was pretty
nerd events?
I think if it would have been in the Buena Vista Theater, it would have been a full theater.
Wow.
But there was a lot of people in these.
That's awesome.
And what was even more challenging, where they were at 10 a.m. in the morning,
Mhm.
and every day he did it was a day that we had a clock put the hour forward the night
Oh,
before.
Sure.
So he was like joking that he was like, by the end, he's like, we're basically meeting at like 2 in the morning. It did feel that way. There was one day I missed, and it was on the in-room TV like later that day. They'll record it and replay it. So I did watch it in our stateroom because I had missed it.
Yeah.
Because we were tired and I slept in for it. So, but it was
So
really
you
good.
you went to all of them.
Except for, I
Except
saw
for-
all
you
of the
saw
ones
all
he
of
did.
them, but
Yep.
just, the one was a replay.
James enjoyed Funnel Vision. James enjoyed having some early lunch.
I want to
James
say
enjoyed.
the stateroom TV was pretty good too. Like as you're mentioning that, because the other kind of like special thing that they brought on for this long cruise was an Anyone Can Cook series.
Oh, yeah.
The
Ooh,
reason we took advantage of it in the stateroom, because this event happened at like 11 most mornings in the D Lounge, and people were lining up for it by 9.
Yeah.
So like this was super popular. They filled up the room the first day. The second day they brought in so many extra chairs to get people there.
Yeah.
And people just really enjoyed the guy, him talking about the food that he was cooking through and just going through this whole like long process for an hour about it. And so we enjoyed watching a couple of those on the stateroom because I'm like, I don't feel the need to go and cram myself in line for a long time and then cram myself in the D Lounge for it when I can get a lot of the enjoyment outside of it. I think there was free wine, so that was a perk for a lot of
Yes.
people.
So I was gonna say, did you do the anyone can cook during the first one, so you
No.
got the experience of being in the room?
We didn't do it at all.
This was one of the things that my family, when they did their Trans-Pacific cruise, really enjoyed, and they didn't say that it was that level of popularity,
It's
that level of
huge.
popularity.
Yeah.
Smaller ship though, so less people on it. So I don't know, but yeah, they said that you got to learn whatever it was that they were cooking. They had samples of then whatever it was, so
Yep.
everyone could
Everyone
experience
got
it.
to
But
eat it.
yes,
Yep.
there was also wine.
During
Yeah.
during
We
one
didn't
of
We didn't
the,
have this last time, so this was different.
during Good Morning Disney Dream, which is like their morning show that I think all the cruise ships probably put it on.
Sure.
Like that talks about the day, and it's got like the cruise director and the assistant cruise director and whatever. They talked about how they wanted to move it to a bigger venue, but because it was cooking and because of all their cameras and stuff that they had, like there was nowhere else on the ship that they could do it.
Wow.
Because they had brought like folding chairs in the space, and they'd used all the like it was a whole thing. Like it was
Dang.
very busy. Now, this brings a great story. James and I were walking the deck. We were walking through the adult section, and James and I are just chit-chatting about whatever. And I happened to glance at this gentleman who is sitting in one of the seats with his wife, and I see a sweatshirt. And it doesn't register right away. We kind of walk around the corner, and I say, wait, James, wait. And I go back, and I do a double take. And this gentleman is sitting there, and I say, excuse me, the shirt that you have, did you visit there, or are you from there? And he goes, oh, we live there. And I said, oh, he was wearing a La Crosse, Wisconsin sweatshirt. And him and his wife, so shout out to Ken
Ken and Goldie.
and Goldie, who live in La Crosse, Wisconsin,
that's
where we
hilarious.
are
Yeah, where we
near
are
right now,
Yeah.
for like recording this. Very fun story. So first of all,
That's awesome.
they're seniors. She has been on over 60 Disney cruises.
I think
He's
she's
been
getting
on
close
over-
to 70 at this point.
Yeah, he's been on over 50.
He's getting close to 60.
Why is there a discrepancy, you might ask? Both are widows, and then they found each other after that and got married.
Aw.
And she's been taking him on all these Disney cruises. So
Yeah.
all the 50, I'm pretty sure weren't all the 50 like
He said all with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now they were talking about all their perks they get now being
yeah.
that level. So they're
Yeah.
like, we get free Palo, we get free internet, we get like all
Our
this stuff.
photo
we get free
package
stuff.
is included.
Yeah. So
Their names probably on Castaway Key.
yeah, they were talking about all this.
Probably, yeah.
So they were great. So we met up. So we sat there and talked with them for a while, and then we
Yeah.
had to go. We had something trivia or something scheduled that we
Sure.
had to get to. But then we got with them on
You
WhatsApp.
should have taken them. They probably knew all the
Well,
trivia
they
answers.
didn't want some of that stuff. They had their things that they were into. So we ended up meeting up with them a couple times on the trip. So we met up with them. We saw them when they were doing like this golf tournament thing in the atrium.
Oh.
So you golf it, it like hits.
It's like a
Velcro.
chip shot. Yeah, they're Velcro balls that land on a target.
And it lands. And sometimes you get the points, and sometimes they have rounds where it's like it's negative that many points.
It's fascinating.
So really interesting to watch. They did that, whatever. They also ended up going on the next cruise. So they didn't. They left all their stuff in the thing, and they got off and got back on and all this stuff.
Yep.
So they went to Italy and a bunch of stuff, which is where the cruise was going after that.
Good for them.
So they got home. They sent us a picture. We got a picture with them with Stitch, because that's what they wanted to do with us. But we're probably going to meet up with them sometime here in La Crosse to like go have lunch or dinner or something with them.
They were way too nice and humble.
They were
not to,
way too
so-
nice of people. They were awesome. It was great just sitting and talk with them. And it was so weird. Like, we're on this boat in the middle of the Atlantic.
Miles. Thousands
And
of
La
miles
Crosse only
away.
has
We're
like
from a small
58,000
town.
people in it.
Yeah.
And here these two people are there. Like, what? And then the fact that we ran into them and then he was wearing something.
Yep. That's
Anyway,
wild.
it was awesome.
That's pretty darn wild.
So shout out to them. They were great. I'm sure that they're not long for then getting on yet another Disney cruise.
That's hilarious.
Oh, they also gave us their castaway bag, their beach towel. Like, they're like, we have a ton of these. Do you want
I'm
all this?
sure, yeah.
So when we met to do the picture with Stitch, they were like, here's all of our stuff.
Yeah.
And then because we're probably going to go on another Disney cruise and we'll eventually get to the 5 or whatever we get more stuff, we gave a lot of our stuff to Casper and Pavel.
So question on that. What color was your stuff? Because
It's the old stuff. It was still the old stuff.
just changed to the new stuff. So
It was quite the thing in the
Next
WhatsApp
cruise.
chat.
that
WhatsApp
it was
chat.
the old
I'm turning
stuff.
into my brother.
You're turning into your brother.
My brother calls it the
WhatsApp
WhatsApp machine. And I was just, anyway.
I mean, that's why it's called
your next
WhatsApp.
cruise.
So
Your next cruise.
So we booked the placeholder, and it actually went through this time. And you even got an email saying it went
We got
through.
a confirmation. I can physically show it to you in my thing if you want to.
So what
really see it.
what we have talked about, well, it showed up in our app this time too. So I told James, I said, I love the dream, but I'd like to experience a newer Disney ship because one of the entertainment cast members, Kat, she was amazing. What's funny is she announced herself as having a stutter, but like never stuttered. So I have no idea what the deal was with her. But she was awesome. She was from the UK.
Yep.
She was from the UK. And she talked about how her favorite ship was the Destiny because she got to like launch the Destiny or something. And actually, she was supposed to go back to the Destiny, but somehow she ended up on the Dream for this little bit of time or whatever. But she was talking about what she liked about that, and I'm like, oh, that maybe we should go on one of the newer ships just to see what it's like. And so I'm sure at some point, I mean, you'll book it for us, but you'll have to tell us all the differences because you've been on the fantasy and you've been on the magic
the
and
magic, the fantasy, and the treasure.
yeah. So I think we want to go on the treasure because the Wish, I looked at the stuff for the Wish and I looked at like the theme of the restaurants and stuff and I wasn't into it.
The Wish does have the hyperspace lounge though.
Yes, but I would rather have the Coco restaurant.
Oh, fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I also
And,
found out
The Haunted Mansion.
that with the
parlor.
Haunted Mansion parlor, Kat told us, she said, don't go out on the first couple days. Go on like day 3 and no one's in
100%.
there.
Yep.
He said, because everybody goes
Everyone wants to
right
be
at the
there right
beginning
away.
and you can't get in.
Mm-hmm.
She said, just wait a couple days and then it's like easy.
Yep. Then it's like you're the only ones in there. Nope.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. We noticed that even on the preview cruise, which was a 3-night cruise, there was that like spike and then nothing.
So, quick thing I forgot to tell you about entertainment. Pavel doesn't speak a lot of English.
Mhm.
The 3 Broadway caliber shows he loved.
Aw,
he didn't
that's
have to
good.
understand anything. He liked the special effects. He liked the stories. He obviously has like heard the music and stuff
Yeah.
before. Loved it. Every time we left, we were like, what'd you think of it? He goes, wow. So great.
I mean, they're spectacular. They are
Yeah.
really spectacular.
Teresa did try to put in a request for us to get dining room service with people that spoke Polish.
Mhm.
The very first night they came up and said, unfortunately, we don't have anybody. We'll try our best. Our dining room staff, Tatiana, who is our server, and Matilda, who is our assistant server, every night they learned one new Polish word
they?
from Pavel, and it was great because it was like there was like thank you
Yeah.
and
I
you're
think
welcome.
at this
and-
point they probably remember thank you, and that's about it. But,
yeah, but
you know,
but they went through and
Yeah.
learned some different things.
That's cool.
And Matilda was French, so she was teaching some French words a little bit. Tatiana was from Brazil,
Argentina,
so she was teaching some of that.
Yeah.
So
That's
anyway,
fun.
It was quite fun. They did a good job. We had like the best service team. We like that. I will never have a service team like that again from the first cruise. they did a really good job.
Yeah. Nope, that's awesome.
Yeah, they were so sweet. They really did their job to take care of us as well as all the other families around us.
Yeah.
So Pavel and Katzber had not been on a Disney cruise before.
Any cruise.
And had not done a cruise whatsoever. What would you say their thoughts were going into the cruise versus what the experience actually was?
So if you remember when Katzber came and went to Disneyland, I told him, do not look up anything about Disneyland. I want it to be a surprise.
Yeah.
Katzber, his entire Instagram feed is Disney cruise stuff.
It's
So he was sending me
obsessive.
stuff. We bought the magic
They were
bands.
super excited.
And he was like, oh, I already bought a carrying thing for my card that were like Mickey ones. So it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
They bought the Pirates outfits
Did
off
they?
of Temu, which he was laughing at because the front and the back were the exact same print, which is why it was on
It
Temu.
was hilarious.
But like it didn't matter. There was other people there
Yeah.
with the same kind of thing. So he had an idea going in what some
Yeah.
of it was going to be. I think both of them were surprised at how you kind of forget you're on something that's in the middle of the water.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was a little rougher than our first cruise, so you could feel it more.
Yeah.
We did have some swells, which made it worse because like the swells are where like the boat really moves.
Yeah.
If you have waves, you kind of just get like hit and the boat can cut through it. But the swells, you just kind of got to deal with.
Yeah.
It was also a little bit windier. The temperature was like low 70s with a breeze, made it feel colder. So when there was like clouds, it was kind of chilly up on deck, those kind of things, which made it
Yeah.
great for James because he's like, whatever, I'm just going to get in the pool anyway. So they enjoyed all of that. They really enjoyed the hot tub, all the food.
Yeah.
They were all about the food.
Yeah, especially the buffet for breakfast and lunch. Like they were in heaven
They were
with
all
all of
excited.
that.
We went to sit down breakfast one day, and I kind of pushed to keep going to the buffet because like there's always the same just few things in the breakfast, like
Sure.
in the dining room. So we did the
Yeah,
buffet
'cause the
mostly.
buffet's got that one section that they seem to like rotate out each day to kind
Yeah.
of keep it.
Yeah.
Do they for breakfast too? I know for lunch for
Breakfast doesn't rotate out too much. There's a few things that might slightly change, but yeah, lunch is where you really get the different international cuisine.
They had crab legs like every day. I was very surprised.
They did,
sure.
yeah.
All the crab legs. All
But
the crab
I only ate them the first day because I was like, this is too much effort with like the
Yeah.
crackers and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
But I forgot that they have some of my favorite stuff there. Focaccia bread.
Mm.
The 2 days that they had Mickey churro waffles.
They had it twice.
Yeah. Well, 14 nights. of
At
course.
least twice. Yeah.
I think it was at
That's
least
awesome.
twice. James, do you want to quickly talk about our excursion?
I had one question about the food.
Oh,
quick.
sure. Sorry.
Yeah.
Your soft serve flavors. What were your favorite soft serve flavors apart from the standard chocolate?
I only
and
did chocolate and vanilla, but they also have banana and strawberry.
Because
but I
they
didn't do
rotate
those.
throughout the day. Like each day is different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I only ever saw banana and strawberry, but I also only did vanilla and chocolate. So
Well, okay, that wasn't a very exciting.
it was a
Sorry.
good try. So
Oh.
That's
soft serve.
That's Vern and I's favorite part. Is like, what's the flavor of the day?
I love that.
Something
Soft
we-
serve is not my favorite. So
Something we
Oh,
did like,
okay.
though,
Okay.
was the last. So since when we went on it, it went into dry dock at the end of that time. And so
Oh,
they
yeah.
got some changes. One of the things they changed was they now have like a cantina thing at Flo's, like the little area by
like
the pool where they
yeah,
have the
the
snacks.
Mexican
Yeah.
restaurant.
So that turned into.
Oh, isn't it like Ramon's? Something
Yeah,
like
it's
Yes.
that?
Ramon's. Yeah. So they have like Mexican food now, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that so much. Those bowls and tacos were so good. All the toppings were great. Like I was happy to eat there multiple times. That was such an upgrade for me.
There
Yeah.
you go. All right, fast forward an excursion. What stop on your 14-night journey did you guys choose to do your excursion at?
Stop number 1.
Oh, okay.
Yep, we did a bus tour in the Azores on Ponta
Which we wanted to
Delgada.
do last time, but it was sold out.
Yep, sold out. So we tried to book third party and they canceled on us. So
Oh, that's right. I was going to say, I remember there was something.
yep, so this time worked out. We got on our bus. We went to like 7 different viewpoints, so we were able to hop out on the bus. You get great views of the ocean, the towns that are around there, the beautiful like lakes that are inside the valleys and everything. It's hard to describe in words just how pretty the Hourglass Lake is with the different colors and the beauty of the water and the surrounding nature.
Also, last time we just rented a car there and drove. This time we had like, because we were on a tour bus, we had narration, so we like learned a bunch of stuff, which was awesome. The upside and downside of the day we were there was it was very windy.
Very windy.
And it was off and on raining. The upside was it stopped raining every time we had to stop on the bus and get out.
It was absolute magic.
And then
I
as soon as we get back on the bus, it would start raining again.
That's wild.
It was unreal. So, yeah, that was
Just
fantastic. So it was probably 2 or 3 hours of driving around and stopping and looking at things.
And at the end, James,
They brought us back to the city, which they had to detour because we were there the day before a huge festival.
Oh.
So they had a huge part of the road closed. So we got to see a little bit of the setup for that. But we ended up at a hotel for a wine and cheese tasting.
Ooh.
It was great. Like there is a cheese that we took a picture of the placard of it, and we're thinking about buying some to try to bring it with us, but we didn't trust ourselves to have enough like refrigeration and everything for it to get home safely. But it was so good. Even when Tage spilled my first glass of wine on me, it was still very...
So here's the thing. I was not paying attention. I was excited, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They had this round table that everybody, like it wasn't like a buffet line. It was like a round table and people were just walking around and picking up their cheese and stuff to put on their plate.
Yeah.
And then they were also handing you like wine.
Mhm.
And what happened was I reached back and my elbow hit James's plate and it knocked his wine onto his plate.
Yeah.
So it killed his cheese
Yeah.
and everything. Luckily, it didn't spill on everybody else's crap.
Yeah, just me.
But it was
good.
embarrassing because there was a lot of people there, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
Like, oh no, disaster.
I did not like the wine, but I loved the cheese.
You know what
Not
you
a sweet
really
wine,
liked,
then.
though, was the jelly.
The jelly, because as part of the cheese, they also had like some jams and jelly.
Yeah.
Oh, this jelly was so good. It was like a strawberry.
The
jelly?
strawberry
Yeah, it
one was, you
so
were
good.
obsessed.
It was very good. So the cool thing about this was we could wait until we were done and get back on the bus, and then they'd bus us back to the cruise ship.
Mm-hmm.
But we were literally across the street from the cruise ship.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you tell
me-
it's
just walk back.
it's fine.
Yeah, it was like
We got
100
this.
yards.
We just had to let them know, like, because they told us that as we were getting off the bus, they're like, if you want to walk back, you just have to let us know.
Sure. That
And we
makes
did,
sense.
and we walked back.
We
Most
started
people
we
had to
started
walk.
walking around because we tried to go and see a few more things because that's where
That's
we
true.
ran into the square that was full of people for the religious like patronage thing that was happening, and so we couldn't get through, so we turned around and we couldn't get through another way, and it was exciting.
And then Catherine and Pavel ended up breaking off because James and I were like, it was hot.
Yeah.
And we were like, we just want to go back.
Yeah.
Like, we've been out on this thing all day. We just were tired. And they were like, we're going to keep walking around. And we're like, okay. So they hung out for like another hour or so.
Yep, they did really good in the ports of like spending time in the city, exploring,
Yeah, I was
wandering
gonna say,
around.
It sounds
so-
like they got a lot out of the port.
Yeah. So while Tage and I are ship people and enjoy the time on the ship, and that's our vacation, they did their best. They got off. They got like tapas at every spot that they went to. They found some coffee and stuff. Like
Fun.
they were living their dream life, and it was perfect.
Well,
so,
good. That's awesome.
Yeah, they had a good time.
So, did you ask them if they would they do it again? Like, was it a?
Yeah, the only thing that Katzper said, and this was just kind of like was going to happen no matter what, is he said that he wished that he had more time, like just being able to sit around and talk with us
Mm,
because like we were doing so much stuff.
sure.
And like they had things they wanted to do and like we would go do
Yeah,
trivia and
yeah,
stuff. And so he really wanted, and I know this has nothing to do with Disney Cruise, but he wanted more time with us, like the first days we had here in the La Crosse area together, of like he was like, I wish we could have spent more time at the house just like having a conversation of just
Sure.
like catching up and whatever. Where on the trip it was just like thing. I also almost killed everybody. Poor James.
Oh no.
So we got to Orlando. So Chicago, we kind of did go in Chicago because we did the aquarium, which Pavel wanted to see, and that's a huge aquarium. We did the Willis Tower because that's a cool thing you do.
Yeah.
We had dinner, etc., etc. Oh God, I'm being just like the talker guy on the guy on the cruise line. Bruce Cabral said etc., etc. a lot, and here I am. But then we went to Orlando. And we had a rental car and we stayed in Orlando, even though our cruise was leaving out of Fort Lauderdale. And we spent the day at Disney Springs and on Disney property doing like we did last August, which was we rode the Skyliner, the whole Skyliner line. We rode the monorail lines. We rode the buses. We rode the ferries. And then we kind of just like hung around in like Disney Springs. Now it was hot there.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to watch the fireworks at night from the Polynesian beach because they play the music. But James was trying to tell me like 2 hours before that, he's like, everybody's getting very tired. And I'm like, we need to see the fireworks.
We're here. We're so close.
Yeah. Well, then what happened was like an hour before the fireworks, I got really sick. Like my body, like I was getting the chills. And
Oh,
like I
geez.
had been sick like the week before and I had come out of it. but I was not feeling very well. So we were sitting on the beach waiting for the fireworks, and I felt like death. But I looked at James and I was like, we're going to watch these fireworks.
He was committed.
So we watched the fireworks, but to answer your question, they both had a really great time. Pavel was like surprised at how much stuff I think was on the ship.
Yeah.
They both really enjoyed how friendly all the cast members were, which of course, like Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about like, what are we going to do in the future? Like he wants to go to Disneyland Paris because Pavel's never been to a Disney park.
Yeah.
So he's like, I want to take Pavel to a Disney park. Of course, Casper wants to go to Disneyland again.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
That's awesome.
they really
had a
enjoyed
really
it.
good time. So would they do a cruise again, or this was just like the gateway to
I think
more
they love
Disney
cruises.
things?
I think the food alone, I think, is like sold them.
I don't know if they would do another 2-week though.
No.
Sure,
So
sure, yeah.
I think they would love, like, you know, being where they are, like any sort of that Mediterranean or Europe cruise where it's like pretty consistent of every day you're in a new town.
Yeah.
And so they can keep on exploring places, get back, take advantage of the boat amenities, and then the next day they get a new town to explore. I think that is exactly the type of cruise that they'd be looking for.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's a great way to like explore that area too, since it's so close but not like super close. So then you can be traveling while you're sleeping.
Right. Yeah, they loved the room. They thought the bed was super comfortable. They loved the split bathrooms
Mhm.
Oh,
because while somebody was showering, somebody could get
It's
ready in
so
the other
nice.
bathroom and
Yeah.
stuff. I don't know why more other than money,
I know.
but other cruise lines should really, because that's a
they
big
should
perk.
steal
yeah,
that.
it's
huge.
huge.
Also, because we had gone on a different cruise line, we had gone on Royal Caribbean last August. It reminded me that the standard Disney cabin is larger than a
Mhm.
normal cruise ship
Yes.
cabin. Just in general, like on a regular cruise ship, there are times when you're trying to get around your bed that you're like
Yeah, yeah.
sideways. You could walk.
For those of you, I know this is
I did
a
the shimmy.
podcast.
You
It's
could
not
feel
visual,
it.
but it was like a little side crab walk type
Yes.
thing.
Also, one night, James encouraged me to do this. We asked our attendant to pull down the
Oh,
bed.
Yeah, how was it?
It was surprisingly more comfortable than I thought it would be. I did not make it through the night though because it got a little warm up there.
Oh,
And we were trying not to have the cabin on like super
yeah.
cold, which that was another funny thing. We had a adjoining room.
Mhm.
And when we would knock on each other's doors to open the adjoining room door, by the way, you can't hear like anything through, which is awesome.
It was great.
Europeans are not as accustomed to blast chiller air conditioning like we are.
Sure, yeah.
So our room was always set to like -3, which was like
We got to -2
68,
at some point. It was
68,
cold.
69. Their room was always like 74, 75.
They kept at like number 1.
Yeah, so
in
they
a
would
scale
open
of
the door
3
and be
to
like,
-3.
your cabin is so cold. And I'm like, your cabin is so
How are you
hot.
not
Like,
sweating?
You know, there's another positive. You guys weren't all in the same room.
Yeah.
But
Would've been
also,
having
yeah,
temperature
yeah.
wars.
But cool thing about this on the Dream at least was when it pulls down, there's like a star field that was there. Well, it doesn't like light up or anything,
Yeah.
but there's like a little light that you can turn on, and like there's a nice rail so you don't fall on the bed and everything. It was good. Now, the one thing that concerned me, I weigh a little over 200 pounds. The weight limit was 220 pounds.
They're like,
And so as I was getting on it, it was like moving. I was like, I don't know about this. But for such a thin mattress, it was actually very comfortable.
wow, that's good to know.
Yeah. So,
On
and then I had to tell the guy the next day, I'm like, we don't need it again. He's like, you don't want it again? I'm like, no, we're good. We're good.
I got the experience.
We got the try.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, it overall sounds like you had a fabulous trip, which I had no concerns that you would, but I'm really glad that you enjoyed your second Disney cruise just as much, if not maybe more, than your first Disney cruise.
Well, now we need to do a newer ship.
Now you've got options.
I don't know when that'll be, but
Well, within
we have
2
a-
years, because you've got the credit that needs to be used.
Yeah, we
we
gotta
do
find
have
it,
we
so.
do have a placeholder.
A placeholder burning a hole in your pocket. And I'm also very happy to hear that both Pavel and Katzber, who had never cruised before, and Pavel, who had never had a Disney experience outside of, watching animation and movies.
He
had
loved
such
all
a
the
great
character
time,
stuff,
too.
like the sail away party. He was
Yeah.
like videotaping a bunch of stuff.
That's fun.
He finally bought it. So one of the things that we've struggled with Casper just in general is we don't mind paying for everything. Like
Yeah.
we've invited him on this, whatever. We told them like spend whatever you want. Like you want on vacation, it's fine. Pavel like bought into that. He's like, I'm gonna have a
Okay.
beer. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
a beer. It's fine. And Casper was like, I'm just gonna have a water. He got around to it,
Yeah.
but He also had a slight issue in the Cove Cafe. And when they had the meet and greet with the officers, as we met the person who was over the restaurants, I mentioned it. I said, oh, he had like a little problem. And what was amazing was she went and got somebody else, and they came over and were like, I oversee that. Tell me what happened.
Oh.
And then he was kind of like, I don't want to cause a big issue.
Yeah.
They said, when you go in there next, well, and then like, didn't they came?
They found us at dinner because
found
that's
us
where
at
they
dinner.
knew to find us.
Like the officer came and found us at our table and was like, just to let you know, the next time you go there, you have free coffee.
Yeah.
So just tell him whatever. And then he didn't go for a couple days because whatever.
Yeah.
But then he went and he said it was all new crew that was there. And they had to like look up like where he had a free thing. Cause like, I assume it was like they're thinking he'd come like the next day.
Sure.
But then he kind of felt bad because he's like, there was different crew there. Like working it. So he's like, I don't know if people got in trouble and reassigned.
Yeah.
So,
It
but they
could've
did a
just
great
been
job.
A shift change and just it happens.
It could be, but yeah. So, but Disney took care of it, and they were great, and it was amazing, and he thought it was wonderful.
Well, good. That's good.
Oh,
yes.
One thing I learned about the newer ships
Okay.
from watching videos: the idea that they have those giant laundry rooms now, amazing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like, you mean the guest use laundry?
Yes. But it's like instead of having like a couple on a few decks,
Yeah.
it's like we're just gonna have this giant area because so many people were complaining about like people leaving their stuff in or not having enough.
Yeah.
But having a giant place, it seems like that's less likely to be consistently happening.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is like, again, unique to a longer sailing.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people on a like 5 or
3
less
hour
night
yeah.
sailing are needing to use laundry versus a 14-night sailing.
You know what's
Yeah.
surprising? So Casper and Pavel did laundry at our house,
Okay.
which they were only there like 3 days. And they did laundry twice on the cruise
Oh,
ship.
well, see, okay. Everyone's different.
James and I threw all of our stuff. We did the little, they have a laundry deal. I think this time it was towards the end of the cruise.
It rotates through the decks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we gave them 25 articles, and they did the 25 articles. So it was great.
There you go. There you go.
Barcelona, about the same as we had it before. We did like a bus tour thing like we did last time. It was great.
But you got to pause and rewind because what was the like special part of Barcelona this time?
We got the gang back together.
Yes.
That's true. We had our other exchange student who was with us when Casper was with us.
And they hadn't seen each other since
They had not.
the original exchange.
Since they left. Yeah.
Now, the funny thing that happened was we thought he was coming in the same day that we were coming in on the ship.
Yeah.
He actually came in the night before.
Oh.
Went,
So was he there waving you in?
No. He was in his, he had got there the day before. He had gone out and explored some of Barcelona because one of the other days he's like, I've got a great place for lunch. Unfortunately, it was Sunday. And, well, first of all, for those of you who ever travel to Spain, their culture has a very different idea of like hours. Like they will close down in the afternoon because they have their siestas.
Yeah.
So a lot of things don't open until like 10, and then they close at like 2, and they don't reopen until like 7. So between like 2 and 7, especially if you're trying to eat like authentic like stuff, it's just not open. What, James?
Yeah, very limited options.
Yeah. But Simone went to take us to this really cool like
A bucaria. So it's like a market that
it was like a
had-
market. But we got there and it was Sunday, and it was just not open on Sundays.
Yeah.
And then we got kind of accosted by a person, which was unfortunate. It wasn't dangerous or anything. It was just there was somebody who was being kind of forceful of like, come over
with
here and
me
do
to this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, they were really like, come eat at our restaurant kind of thing. We're just like, can you just leave us alone? Like,
No,
we want to
thank
eat there, we'll
you.
eat there.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was just great to see everyone again and
Yeah.
spend that quality time and for them to
Yeah.
get back together. So
Yeah,
That's awesome. Glad that everything went so well.
it did. I think everybody had a good time, and we'll have to
Definitely.
get together and do something again at some point.
definitely.
Well, you've heard us talk about our great experiences staying at the Howard Johnson Anaheim. And of course, you know, D23 is coming up. There's some decent summer deals for kids, ticket deals for kids and stuff like that. So if you're going to be there anytime soon, we have partnered with them to offer our listeners some cool discounts. Weekly tiers can get 15% off their stay. To take advantage of the discount, head on over to DLWeekly.net and click on the Howard Johnson logo. It's always a great place to stay.
And now, the world-famous backside of water! Not to be confused with the backside of trivia, which is where Tag and Teresa hide all of the answers they totally meant to say.
Well, welcome back to TriviaLand, folks.
Don't you mean like, hey there, partner?
Hey there, partner. Hi there, ho there. It's Woody's Roundup. Oh, it should have been hey, howdy, hey. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go back in the Trivia Land box here in a second, obviously. Anyway, carrying on.
Okay.
4 questions about Walt Disney.
At least you were at Stinky Pete.
Oh, that's true. I appreciate that. 4 questions for you this week, all about Walt Disney and his history. We'll see how you did. Question 1. What was the name of Walt's first animation studio, the one he started in Kansas City? He started this studio in 1920, producing cartoons based on fairy tales before filing for bankruptcy in 1923 after he completed the short film Alice in Cartoonland, and then moved to California. That was indeed Laugh-O-Gram.
Woo!
Well done.
I like how you and I were at like the same tone for our woo there.
I mean, we're just in sync.
In sync. This is good. Walt from his cryogenically frozen pod is calling out to you.
You love talking about Walt and his cryogenically frozen pod.
Yes, I do. All right, question 2. Walt provided the sketches and ideas for Mickey Mouse, but he didn't finish the design. Who gets credit for that? You both said Iwerks and are both correct on that one.
Yay, good old Ub.
Disney archivist Dave Smith wrote in the book Disney Trivia from the Vault, Secrets Revealed and Questions Answered that Walt reportedly never really even drew Mickey unless a fan specifically requested it for an autograph.
Well, there you go.
So,
He voiced him, though.
all right. Question 3. Walt Disney has the record for the most Academy Awards won by an individual or project. How many does he have? You both give him a lot of credit. Way too much credit.
He should.
He was nominated 59 times, but he has 22 competitive Academy Awards.
Oh, wow.
And they don't think that's going to be beat?
The next closest is a 4-way tie with 11.
Wow.
Cedric Gibbons won Best Art Direction 11 times out of 38 nominations. Ben-Hur got 11 awards, including a lot of the big ones. Titanic won 11 for 14 when it became the highest grossing film of all time. And Lord of the Rings, Return of the King went 11 for 11 in 2003.
Wow.
Haven't gotten really close since then. So he also has 4 non-competitive special awards, but we don't count those in that one. But really took off in the 30s with the short subject cartoon category and then just carried on from there. So yeah, I think you're right, Tig. That's going to be a hard one to beat.
There we go.
Final question. Which president awarded Walt Disney the Presidential Medal of Freedom? After telling you both it was in 1964, you got your history right. That is Lyndon B. Johnson. Lyndon B. Johnson. And he described Disney as an artist and impresario. In the course of entertaining an age, he has created an American folklore.
Very, very cool.
What a nice thing to say.
We did pretty all right.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. See, this article was so wrong. The biggest Walt Disney fans even know some of these. And I would guess you listeners at home probably knew some of those too.
It's because we have the best listeners.
Mm-hmm. And listeners at home, if you stumble on an article, see something in the park, or just have a great aha moment with an idea for a question for Tage and Teresa, just head to our website and submit it, and you might hear it here on the show. The website link is dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
A special thank you to Sidel for editing the podcast, Andy Mack for all the wonderful character transitions, and to James D. and Aaron C. for supporting at the Club 33 level.
I am the podcast that flaps in the night. I am Tag and Teresa's tangent that takes you down the rabbit hole. I am DLWeekly.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.